way. We're going to try it a different way. If you can hear me, touch your nose. If you can hear me, touch your ears. If you can hear me, look around at who you're coming into community with. Good morning. I'm impressed that that worked. It actually pains me to have to stop you from talking because it's a beautiful sight to see so many people in here getting to know each other and so many people excited to be here. We have a slightly different service today than maybe what we're used to in this space, but then again, we're always kind of imagining who we are and who we're becoming. We have a jazz quartet in the room that you'll hear more about in a few minutes. But first, let me set the scene about what we're going to do today. In 1964, John Coltrane sat down and wrote what I would call a 33-minute prayer. He called it a love supreme. He wrote it in a house that's only a few miles from here. I think 12, I looked it up. He called it a humble offering. He said he was trying to say thank you after years of addiction, after a spiritual experience that he could not name, but he could express in the only way that he knew how. On a saxophone, in a band, in a room. The four notes that open this album are him chanting over and over again, a love supreme. A love supreme, into the horn, until the words and the notes become the same thing. That is what we are about to do this morning, and that is actually what we are about to hear. It came from him to us across 60-something years, and it is now ours to receive in this room. Receive it however you can.
Wowee. It's going to be a great day. Good morning. I'm Allison Barish, and I'm your worship associate this morning. My pronouns are she and her. I want to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Huntington. Some of you have been coming here for years. Some of you have never set foot in a UU congregation. So if you fall into that second category, here's a short version of who we are. We're a religious community with American roots going back over 200 years to people who refuse to believe that anyone could be damned by love and refuse to leave their own minds at the church door. We don't have a creed. We don't tell people what to believe. Many of us came here because we were looking for a religious community that takes love and justice seriously, doesn't require us to leave parts of ourselves at the door, and is willing to side with love when human dignity is on the line. You don't have to perform belief here, but we do believe love requires something of us. A few practical things. Sing if you want, or don't, for the hymns. Stand or sit as your body asks. The closest restrooms are straight out those rear doors. Here we go. And those are multi-stalls. Single-stall restrooms are in the 2 corridors by the main entrance. Anyone is welcome to use whichever restroom they need. Coffee hours in the social hall after the service, along with our welcome table. If you're new and you want to know us more, please find someone with a name tag. We'd love to meet you. A few specifics about today. As you already know, we're joined by 3 terrific guest musicians playing alongside our musical director, Dylan DeFeo, and our choir. Their names are Sean Delacave, Arthur Sadowski, and Michael Amendola. Most of the music you'll hear today is sacred jazz, written by Black American musicians in the 1960s and 70s, who were doing some of the most spiritually serious work of the last century. They are the reason this service exists. We'll also be welcoming a baby today in a child dedication near the middle of the service. You'll see what that looks like when we get there. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to add a couple of things while Allison is just looking for the announcements in her notes. One is, you can tell that we have some amazing music happening today. Do we have anyone who has any sensitivities to that kind of a sound during the service? One thing we can do, I think, is open up those back doors and that door in the corner there. And if anyone needs to kind of move around and go into the vestibule that's there, you can still hear everything from in there. If anyone wants to get up and move or dance, there's plenty of room for it here. We can make that happen. You don't need to stay seated. So I think the musicians would love that.
Just a couple of quick announcements. Our fellowship year only has 2 months remaining. Contribution statements were sent this week by email. You should have received them, and show your progress on this year's pledge. If you have any questions, you can catch me after service. I'll be at the Realm table. And if you have any Realm questions, or if you want to get on Realm, come see me also. A few important dates are coming up for the fellowship. On Sunday, May 17th, which is 2 weeks from now, at 12:15, we're having a budget forum to review the proposed budget for the next fiscal year. And you'll have an opportunity to ask questions. And on Sunday, June 7th, also at 12:15, we'll have our annual congregational meeting. Childcare will be available for both. And General Assembly, which is the Unitarian Universalist Association's annual meeting, is coming up also. Will take place virtually this year, June 14th through June 21st, and registration is open now. There are limited funds available to help with cost of registration for UUFH delegates to GA, and requests for funding should be forwarded to our board secretary, who is Susan Peters. And Reverend Israel is going to light our chalice now. In the liner notes to A Love Supreme, Coltrane wrote that the album was not just a humble offering. It was an attempt, he said, to say thank you through his work. He did not always have words for what he was reaching toward. So he reached with a horn, with his band, and with everything he had. We are here this morning to do the same kind of reaching with whatever we have. May this flame remind us that the holy has many names, many sounds, and many people who go without naming it at all. That truth comes through music as easily as through words. That people who reach for love and beauty and justice in this life are kin across centuries, across traditions, and across this room. We light it together, and we begin.
As I said earlier, we're listening to a very particular kind of music today during the service. It might be music that you've heard on the background somewhere, that you've been and didn't even know what it was or where it came from. But this music that we're hearing today came from a very particular place and time, specifically. I said earlier that Coltrane wrote in 1964. That summer, if you don't know, 3 young men were killed in Mississippi for helping black people sign up to vote. Coltrane was making this music inside a country that was deciding whether or not people of color could be counted at all. But he kept making this music. And so did Pharoah Sanders, Alice Coltrane, Mary Lou Williams, some of these musicians that you're going to hear today. Black musicians who made some of the most beautiful and sacred music of the last 100 years inside a country that was trying to snuff them out. Still is. They were reaching past everything around them and saying, there is a love bigger than this. I see it and I am pointing at it. This is what this next song, Acknowledgement, means. To see something. To say you are here. To say that you count. This week, as we may know, the Supreme Court struck down a Voting Rights Act protection that the men in Mississippi died for. What Coltrane was writing inside of in 1964 is still in our country today. So this music is not just a beautiful offering for this room, it is a question to all of us. Whether we can hear what it came from and let it ask something of us. Today we listen. And this week we look around and we notice, I hope, who is being asked to be small. And we say to them, however we can, I see you, you count. The next piece is themed to grace. It has no words because it is grace, and grace does not need them. Just listen.
Music. 65, he was in touch with the Reverend Charles Gompertz at Grace Cathedral in San Francisco. He was from San Francisco. That was the heart of the West Coast jazz scene at the time. And he was tasked to provide a jazz setting for the Episcopalian liturgy, which was there. So this is an album, this was a live recording, and I highly recommend checking it out, called Vince Guaraldi at Grace Cathedral with a jazz trio and a choir. And this was kind of the inspiration of, this was kind of my first exposure to spiritual jazz in a way. And about, I think it was 4 months after that, also at Grace Cathedral, the more famous sacred concerts by Duke Ellington were held there. So this was kind of the touchstone, kind of the beginning of that, while on the East Coast, Coltrane was doing what he was doing. So this is a slightly different approach to it. This is more strictly liturgical in nature, but this was kind of my first foray into this can be something more than just music. This can be sacred. This can be meditative, and I hope you enjoy.
long time ago, I won't say exactly how many years because I'm not sure, a baby was brought into this room to be dedicated. Somewhere right around here, I think. Her parents brought her up here, and they asked the people present in this room to know her, to watch her grow, and to welcome her as one of their own. The congregation said yes. That baby is sitting here in this room this morning, and her name is Danielle, and her wife's name is Beth. And together they're bringing their son, Logan, to this room this morning to do the same thing. This is one of the oldest things that humans do. People make a child, people love that child in a way that they did not know that they could love someone. And then because the love is too much to hold alone, the child gets brought to others, to community. Help us, the parents say. Know him. Love him with us. And in that asking, the child's circle widens outward to a community, to strangers who become kin, and to every other family that is raising a child this morning and struggling and looking for others to help, backward and forward across generations. Logan is 5 months old and he is already that big. In our tradition, when a baby is brought here to be dedicated to enter the room at all, the child arrives already good. Already good. The yearning to love, to connect, to make meeting, that is in him already. He brought it with him. We all did. His belonging here does not depend on what he comes to believe. Our work is to honor the wisdom that is already in him, to take his questions seriously as he grows, and to journey with him as he listens for what is true, and we trust him to find his own way in that process. I'm going to invite Beth and Danielle now to bring Logan forward to come up for this dedication, and also invite with them Laura and Chris, their godparents. You want to come up here? What we're going to do is we have some promises that we're going to ask all of us and some specific people to make to you. To you. So, Beth and Danielle, thank you for being here with him. You have made a person. You have been loving him in your bodies and with your bodies for longer than he has been in the world. You will keep raising him for as long as you are alive, and he will carry you with him after. That is the most serious love that humans can give to each other, and you are giving it. Beth and Danielle, do you commit to raising Logan in love and letting him become whoever he turns out to be?
We do.
What this congregation can offer now to him is not a substitute for that love. We cannot promise to be the whole village, but we can promise to be one real place in his life. Laura and Chris, you have been chosen by Beth and Danielle. They picked you to be Logan's godparents because of who you are to them and because of who they want you to be to him. Will you stay close to Logan as he grows up, show up in the ways that only you can, and be the people he knows he can come to as he becomes himself? You can say, we will. Now, to Logan's grandparents. To Logan's grandparents, two of them who I know. We also have Billy and Doreen, Beth's parents. Would you stand up, please? Just so they can see you. And Lisa and Steve, you can sit back down. You can sit back down. Or you. I'm not asking you to stay. I'm not asking you to remain standing because you have already done the standing up here. You raised the people who are now raising him. You are the people who will love him in the particular way that grandparents love grandchildren, with that long view of what it means to watch your child raise their own child. So my question to you is, and you can say we will if you do, will you love him the way grandparents love him and let him know it? We will. Now, I know that we have a lot of family and friends in the room here today. So to the family and friends that came with these two, you are the people who will know him in the ways that only family and chosen people can. You will be at the birthdays. You will tell him stories about his moms that he will not hear from anyone else. My question to you is, will you stay close in the ways that are yours to give and love him as he grows? You can say, we will. And now to this whole congregation, to the people who will get to see him as he grows too. We promise Logan that he is welcome here as he is, before he has done anything to earn it. That's what Unitarian Universalism is about. We promise him a tradition that holds his questions as sacred, and a community that searches alongside him for what is true and just and good. We promise him that as he grows and changes, and as his life takes him in and out of this room, that he will always, you, Logan, will always have somewhere to come back to. And we will always be glad to see you. Congregation, will we keep these promises to him? If we can, say we will. Yes. And now, to Logan. This rose is for you, Logan. Can I give it to you? This rose is for you. And here's the thing. You might not remember any of this. Not the rose or your mom standing here, or the room of people. But the rest of us, we will remember, and I'm pretty willing to bet that your moms will remember. That is how love works at the beginning, when it works. People do beautiful things for you before you understand them. And one day that story becomes part of who you are. We are doing one of these things now, here in this room. That rose with the thorns removed is a piece of beauty you didn't have to earn. May your life have beauty in it, and may it have music. May it have people. May it have laughter, and may it have people who journey alongside you. And may it have a room for your questions and your courage and your own particular self. Logan James Burby Blalos, we welcome you. We are glad you're here. You can take a sit. Our young people are going to head out. The rest of our young people are going to head out to RE in just a second. But before, I just want to say to you that you just watched something. A baby getting welcomed into this community. That welcome, I hope, I believe, we cultivate it happening here every Sunday for every kid who walks in here. Every one of you. And I hope that you have been getting that version of that welcome the whole time. And the people in this room who are welcoming Logan today are the same people who welcome every child in here this week. So here is what I hope that you will take with you today. What we just promised Logan in this is that this congregation would take his questions seriously. I promise that to all of you today too. So today in RE, bring your wondering. That is what we are here for. Grown-ups, will you help send our children out to RE now by placing a hand on your heart and just saying with me, we send you with love. We send you with love. The children can go to RE now, yep. And we have another piece of music for us.
So, this next selection, thank you. This next selection is a song by Pharoah Sanders, and he was one of John Coltrane's disciples, acolytes of sorts. And when Coltrane in the mid to late 60s was starting making this music, many other sax players followed suit because he already had people trying to follow his examples with songwriting, composition. And then they were starting to follow more his spiritual inclinations, that music can be more than just music. It's something that can be a prayer. It's something that can be a force for good, a force for healing. You had people like Pharoah Sanders. You had people like Albert Eiler, and he did a song called, an album called Music is the Healing Force of the Universe. This song, The Creator Has a Master Plan, the lyrics were written by Leon Thomas. It's my turn to get the feedback. Anyway, Leon Thomas wrote the lyrics, and he did a few recorded versions of his own. This particular version is an arrangement of my own that combines some of both of the versions, but I took a lot from the version Leon Thomas recorded with Louis Armstrong. That's actually one of my favorite versions. And while everyone in here might have different takes on who or what a creator is, if there even is a creator, if there is or is not a master plan, this song, to me, represents the kinship of all things, the kinship of all humankind, that we can make a better world and we can all be connected because we are connected. So, yeah, that's the spirit in which I picked this one. So.
Dylan can correct me if I'm wrong, but that last piece runs almost, I think, a half hour in its full form.
Yes.
From what I was looking up.
Yes.
And I think they meant every minute of it. So what we're going to do right now is I'm just going to, invite our musicians to talk to us a little bit, because I think, here in this space we might be used to hearing from me, the clergy, the minister up here. I do a lot of talking, and today we were here to welcome a baby, but also to see what the music has to teach us. I have sort of one question for all of you, and that I wanted to just put out. But I'll say that, so much of what I read talks about this kind of music is really, literally being a spiritual epiphany and a spiritual experience for the people who wrote it. So I'm wondering, my big question for you is, when you're rehearsing this music, when you're performing it, what are you looking for in it? Like something in it that helps you, how do I put it this way? When you're really like locked in when you're playing. And there's something more that's happening that's written on the page than what's written on the page. What is that? What does it feel like? You can respond to that, or you can let us know anything else you'd like us to know about this music.
For me, I can't speak
like?
for
Yeah.
the fellas. I think everyone gets something different out of it, but for me, it's joy. I think music, for me at least, is the biggest expression of joy and the purest expression of joy that I can think of, and especially with jazz being improvised music, it's happening in the moment. Like, you have to be present. There's a quote, a Charlie Parker quote, kind of the inventor of most of the language that we use on these instruments, and it is a language. Learn everything, learn your scales, learn your chords, learn your music theory, so you can forget all of that and just play. And it's true. I mean, we work really hard at this, and we do that so that way we can get to that place. We have more and more information and material to cull from that can give us more vehicles to get to where we need to reach. And for me, it's joy. I think music is one of the art forms that's really, truly transcendent. It brings people together. You might have people, I don't like to watch movies, I don't like to go to the museum, but if someone says, I don't like to listen to music, it's just weird, man. I've never met anyone yet. It is one of those things that truly brings people together. I've been in situations and workplaces and things where everyone's like, oh, no one likes that guy. But once I start talking to him about music, we have some common ground and we have something that we can talk about and bring us together. So for me, it's the joy of being able to connect with the musicians, with you, with the audience, with the listeners. And I think the thing I get the most out of that is joy. And that's what I'm looking for. So, would you like to add?
Good morning. The question is, what am I looking for?
Yeah,
I'm not
when you
looking
play.
for anything. I'm participating.
Yeah. Or what does it feel like when you find?
So when you look for something, there's an expectation. You might go to a movie, oh, I heard this is really good. There's an expectation the movie's going to be good or great, and if it's not great, then you're disappointed, you've made a judgment. So in this improvisational music, we're having a conversation and trying to connect to something that's much larger, right? Like, you could look at the sunset. Do you have an expectation? What are you looking for when you look at the sunset? When you hear the birds, notice the flowers in the morning. So it's a participation in something and a connection of something that's much greater. And it's not just a personal connection, but it's a collective participation with the fellow musicians and a conversation going back and forth, and also participation with everybody in the room, because music is vibration, and we are vibration, and the entire universe is vibration. So that's the connection that we're looking for.
Good morning, my name is Arthur. I'm going to stick with John Coltrane. There's a funny story where he'd been asked to play short solos, because by the time he was done with playing solo, let's say Miles would like to go to the next song, and everybody was offended. Everybody was like, we do like to play solos, And nobody could say no to John Coltrane. And Miles had to, speak to him and like, John, you're playing, you're taking all time, like what's going on? Like everybody's complaining in the band. And John looked at the Miles, he said, I can't, I'm a conduit. And that struck me so deep, so hard. So he said, I can't, I'm conduit. And when the beam of energy, whatever it is, stopped, I put my horn down. So that's my moment. That's my 2 cents. This is what I'm looking for. It doesn't happen all the time. As a matter of fact, you have to work very, very hard to be tuned to become a conduit. But that's what I'm looking for. I hope it helps.
Oh, well, I didn't expect to talk today, but I guess the reason I do music is because I can't really do anything else. So, for me personally, it's something that makes me very happy. It's something that makes me content, and it fills my soul. And I think everybody can kind of relate to that. There's only one thing that you can do, whether it's something you want to do or not, that fully fulfills you. And that's what it is in my case. And yeah.
If you were standing up here, I would call that a calling. Actually, I would still call it a calling. Thank you. Thank you. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
I just want to say, well, first and foremost, I just want to thank you guys for being hip enough for letting me do this. This has been a dream of mine for a long time, so thank you. And I want to thank the musicians, of course. I've been playing with Arthur for probably almost 10 years in a lot of different contexts. We've done jazz, we've done folk rock, we've done a whole bunch of stuff. He is the best electric bass player on Long Island. That's Arthur Sadowski. Sean and I have been playing together for 10 years in a band called The Maniacs in the Mailbox. We are a funk and psychedelic band. In fact, the other 2 Maniacs are here, Robbie and Frankie. I love you boys. Thanks for coming. And I'm just so thrilled to have you here, Sean. And Michael, I only just met, but I understand he's a friend. I feel like he's a familiar face to many of you. So I'm so glad that this experience has brought us together. So thank you. I'm really glad. And thank you, Israel, for all your wonderful input in all of this. And yeah, I'd like to let the music do the rest of the talking.
We're going to take some time. We're moving towards the end of the service today, but before we do, we take some time together for a tradition that we have that we call Moments of the Heart. And this is what... Sorry?
We got astral traveling first.
You do. After astral traveling, we will share our joys and sorrows with each other.
Astral Traveling is a Lonnie Liston Smith tune. Lonnie Liston Smith was Pharoah Sanders' keyboard player, and he was into the whole spiritual thing with that crowd and was very interested in astral projection. And this piece has a chord progression, it has chords, it has a structure, but there's really no written melody, so it's truly a different thing every time. So you go on a different journey every time you play it. You have a structure that keeps you on the road, so to speak, but that road goes to different places every time. And I think we're on different roads, all of us, going to different destinations, coming from different places, but we're all searching for a lot of the same thing, meaning and love and community. So I thought this would be a good choice for us, and I dedicate it to UUFH and this lovely community.
We do something when we come together each week that we call Moments of the Heart. It's one of the ways that we practice being a community, that we practice being here for each other, people holding life together. Here's how it works. You got an index card when you came in here. If you didn't get one, you can raise your hand and we'll bring one to you. If you feel moved, you can use that card to write down in a few words a joy, a sorrow, or a complex truth that you carry on your heart today, that you need spoken aloud in community. You can bring that up and light a candle if you wish. And when you bring those up, they will be received by our pastoral care associate there, and I'll read them aloud. You're welcome to light a candle too, even if you don't want to write on a card. Anyone can light a candle at one of the tables around the room. I want you all to know that I have several cards talking about how amazing the music is today and how grateful, yes. One positive statement says this one card in my hand, which it looks like is a quote from John Coltrane. Release millions of positive vibrations. A wave that only goes up, two on the back. We pray for the war, for the end of the war. It says this card. The war in Iran. First time here, says this person, loving it so far, I'm happy. On my heart is Quentin Kessler, a baby that is 6 months old with butterfly skin. May his skin be strong and healthy. Yes. May it be. Grateful for this spiritual community, says this card, for music and musicians. Thanks for this beautiful and inspiring music. Joanne and Alex are happy to be celebrating their 40th wedding anniversary. Yes. Their daughter, Alex Alley, and her husband, Ian, are here for the celebration. Yay. I'm so grateful my mom is here today, says this other card. A card here in memory of the Reverend Dr. Natalie Fenimore and her legacy of kindness. That was a minister at a local UU congregation, for anyone who doesn't know. It was a great pleasure to hear these wonderful musicians today. Thank you. Lisa Burby lit a candle for her mother, Elaine DeLuca, who passed away 10 years ago tomorrow. She would have been delighted to meet her grandson, Logan, and her great-granddaughter, Clara. Her family misses her. I have one card here for Tim Schmidt's beloved mother, Dickie, who died Wednesday. Brother who died Wednesday. After a long illness, he faced affliction with great courage. He will be sorely missed. And then this card, remembering Kurt, it's been 35 years, missing him still, Mom and Dad. For all that we carry on our hearts, for all that we bring to community, for all that we carry every day, we remember why we come together. And we sing now our hymn, Spirit of Life. We sing this hymn, our perennial comfort.
Now we receive today's offering. If you can give, thank you. If you're visiting or just not in a place to give, please let the basket pass, no guilt. We use Realm for electronic giving. You can scan the QR code on the screen or text UUFH to 73256 or use the Realm app if you have it on your phone. The default fund is Sunday Split Plate, but you can adjust it using the drop-down menu. This month, our split plate goes to Sophia Faz Camp, our Unitarian Universalist multi-generational summer camp. Ginger O'Neill, who's a member and a leader of camp, is here to tell us a little bit about it.
Just representing a greater group of Sophia Faz Camp that's been going on for decades. It's now an intergenerational camp. August 9th to 15th, you can still sign up on LIAC UU website. Thank you so much for this. This really helps us give accessibility to anyone who might not be able to afford it. And just as a reminder, Elders are welcome by themselves. Young adults are welcome, kids, families, everybody. So please join us on Lake George. Thanks.
Our folks in the back can go to the next slide because we are closing our service today not with more words, but with one of our most beloved UU hymns set in a slightly new way, in a different way. Unless, Dylan, are you telling me you have something you want to say? No. Okay. We're taking this beloved hymn of ours in a slightly different way today, this morning, to take us out of this service. And all I have to say to you all and all of you is thank you. Thank you. And thank you for blessing each other. Go in peace, but sing first.